whispers in the dark. In the far reaches of the galaxy, where stars were thin and silence ruled, strange whispers began to spread among the deep space scanners. An old signal, faint but steady, had been detected at the very edge of known space. In a dead sector, no one had dared to explore for thousands of years. The signal carried no modern encryption, no alien code, and no logical pattern. It pulsed in a rhythm that seemed ancient, deliberate and haunting. At first, no one paid attention. The Galactic Council dismissed it as cosmic interference, just another dying echo of forgotten satellites, but then the signal grew stronger, repeating one strange sequence of tones again and again. Every listening post from the Varan Confederacy to the Thalcor Dominion began to pick it up. Soon the message reached the core worlds, and fear followed. The Varan scientists at the outer relay station were the first to decode it. After weeks of translation attempts, their lead linguist trembled as he spoke. "It's Terran," he whispered, his voice dry. "It's human." The word human sent shivers through everyone in the command deck for generations. Humans had been nothing more than myths, the ghosts of an extinct species that once shook the galaxy to its core. Old records spoke of a time when humanity built warships so powerful that empires fell in hours. The Council had always believed they destroyed themselves in the Great War. But if this signal was real, it meant something of theirs had survived. Something was still alive out there, calling through the dark. The Council gathered in emergency session. The Great Hall of the Galactic Core glowed with shifting holograms of the signal source. It came from a region long abandoned, the Orion Abyss, a black void filled with wreckage and radiation storms. No one had returned from that place in living memory, and yet from the heart of that cursed space, a pulse continued to echo, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of something ancient that refused to die. High Chancellor Vorex of the Thalcor spoke first. "If the humans left something behind, it must not be awakened," he warned. But Admiral Orlan of the Varan fleets disagreed. "If it's technology, it belongs to whoever claims it first," he said coldly. Greed mixed with fear, and before the debate could end, the decision was made. A combined research and military fleet would be sent to investigate. Weeks later, 12 ships descended into the Black Abyss, their lights cutting through dust and debris. The deeper they went, the more interference their systems suffered. Gravity twisted, time sensors lagged, and strange power readings flickered across the scanners. It was as if the abyss itself was alive, watching them, and then, out of the mist of shattered asteroids, they saw it. A massive silhouette drifted through the void. Silent and unmoving, its hull was blackened by centuries of decay. But its shape was unmistakable. Colossal, elegant, and terrifyingly human. The flagship Varan's Pride illuminated the object, revealing a ship larger than any alien vessel ever built. Runes and metallic scars lined its surface, and a faded symbol of a blue planet surrounded by stars glimmered faintly on its side. A symbol none of them had seen before, but all instinctively recognized. "Earth, this can't be real," murmured Captain Xylan, his voice breaking the silence. But the scanners confirmed it. The ship was of human design, nearly 50 kilometers long, and though ancient, its reactor core showed signs of faint power. Something deep within it was still running. Like a sleeping heart, the fleet sent drones to scan the surface. As they approached, one of the drones vanished, consumed by a pulse of energy. Then another and another. The alien crews began to panic, but the admirals ordered them to continue. Curiosity was stronger than fear, until the ship spoke. A voice echoed through every comm system in range, cold and mechanical. "Identification required," it said in an old Terran accent. The crews froze, their translators struggling to process the ancient language. The voice repeated, louder this time. "Identification required. Unauthorized presence detected." The Varan admiral ordered all ships to pull back, but it was too late. The derelict's engines flickered, faint lights appearing along its hull. Ancient cannons slowly rotated, dust and debris scattering into the void. Energy surged through kilometers of metal like blood through veins. For the first time in 10,000 years, the lost human supercarrier Erebus began to awaken. Power readings spiked across all ships, communications jammed, and a single message pulsed through the void in every known frequency. Erebus Command Core Online Humanity Restoration Protocol initiated. Then silence. The alien fleet drifted helplessly, staring at the sleeping giant now stirring before them. Every sensor in the galaxy began to record the same thing. The lost supercarrier of humanity was awake again, and somewhere far away in the shadows of the abyss, a new signal began to broadcast. It was not a distress call, nor a warning, it was a promise. We are humanity, and we are not extinct. The awakening of Erebus. The alien fleets floated in silence, their lights flickering as power systems struggled under the sudden electromagnetic surge. Before them, the massive human supercarrier Erebus came alive piece by piece. Sections of the hull that had once looked dead now shimmered faintly with blue light. Engines that had been cold for millennia rumbled like distant thunder. A ghost from humanity's golden age had opened its eyes again. Inside the ship, deep within the command core, an artificial intelligence stirred. Lines of ancient code cascaded through processors the size of cities. For 10,000 years, it had waited in darkness, maintaining minimal power, guarding its slumbering crew. Now, the sensors detected motion outside, unknown vessels, strange energy signatures. The AI identified them instantly as non-Terran, and that single observation triggered Protocol 1. Defense systems activation, hostile presence detected. Awakening sequence initiated. The voice that echoed through the supercarrier's corridors was calm, mechanical, yet carried an unmistakable hint of humanity. Erebus Command Core online, scanning environment. Threat level. Severe. Across the ship, dormant machines awoke. Lights flickered in the cryogenic bays. Reactors powered up, and the forgotten human flag shimmered on the central command screen. Outside, the alien fleets watched in growing terror. The Varan Admiral barked orders. Fall back, maintain distance. But his voice trembled. Their scanners could not penetrate the ship's shielding anymore. One by one, alien ships tried to retreat, yet none dared to fire. Everyone in the sector knew the legends. When humans built war machines, they did not build them to lose then. A low hum spread through the void. Energy rippled from the Erebus, forming concentric waves that disrupted communications and scanners inside the ship. Heavy shutters opened to reveal rows of tungsten rail cannons the size of mountains. Even deactivated, they glowed faintly with stored plasma. The AI registered all alien signals as potential threats, but it did not fire. Instead, it transmitted a short, encrypted message into the void. A message in an ancient Terran dialect no alien could understand. Command core active, awaiting human authorization. In the cryogenic bay, machines hissed as vapor filled the air. Pods flickered one after another. Some malfunctioned and died. Others slowly came online inside one of them. A woman floated in suspension. Commander Elena Reyes, last known captain of the Erebus. Her heart monitor beeped weakly, then stabilized. The AI detected life signs and increased oxygen flow. It spoke softly through the intercom, as if greeting an old friend. Welcome back, Captain Reyes. System restoration in progress. Elena's eyes twitched beneath her frozen lids, her memories flickering like static. Images of fire, war, and the final order. Initiate deep stasis. Humanity must survive, replayed in her mind. She had no idea 10,000 years had passed. Meanwhile, the alien fleet tried to re-establish contact with the Galactic Council. Their signals were jammed, their navigation systems scrambled by unknown interference. One of the Thalkor ships attempted to scan the interior of the human relic. The instant their beam touched the hull, a pulse of light erupted from the ship's surface. The entire cruiser vanished, erased in a single flash. Not even debris remained, only silence. The rest of the fleet panicked, engines flaring as they scattered. Some fled into hyperspace. Others powered down and broadcast surrender signals. The AI aboard Erebus recorded their reactions with cold precision. Its memory banks compared modern alien technology to archived data from the Human Dominion War. The conclusion was simple and absolute. Current galactic military power inferior. Inside the ship, power continued to climb. Reactors stabilizing at full output. Defense drones began to awaken, thousands of them, orbiting the carrier like glowing insects. Each one was armed and waiting for command authority. Yet the AI held its fire, bound by ancient human ethics subroutines. It would not attack until a human gave the order. On the flagship Varan's Pride, Admiral Arlan watched in horror as sensor readings spiked. He turned to his crew and whispered, "If humans truly return, no empire will survive." He ordered the ship's black box recorder to transmit everything back to the core worlds, even if they died. The galaxy had to know what had awakened hours past. And then, a low human heartbeat echoed through the ship's core systems. Elena Reyes opened her eyes for the first time in 10 millennia, gasping as warm air filled her lungs. She stumbled out of the pod, weak but alive. All around her, the lights glowed blue, the walls vibrating with life. A mechanical voice greeted her again, calm and steady. Captain Reyes. Stasis duration, 10,141 years. All systems operational. Crew revival sequence incomplete. Awaiting command, she blinked, trying to understand. 10,000 years? She whispered, her voice hoarse. Her mind flooded with memories and the last battle. The desperate retreat, humanity's final stand. She looked up at the flickering display showing alien ships orbiting the carrier. Her lips tightened. So they're still out there, she said quietly. And they think we're gone. Orders, Captain? Asked the AI. Elena looked at the human flag projected on the wall. The stars surrounding Earth glowing softly. Her voice was cold, steady, and full of purpose. Begin diagnostics. Full system activation and prepare a broadcast, she said. The AI's lights pulsed in acknowledgement. Understood. Message composition ready moments later. Every communication device across the alien fleets crackled. A human voice filled the void, calm, commanding, and alive. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Terran Supercarrier Erebus. We have awakened, stand by for contact. The galaxy froze. In that single moment, every empire, every council, every ship listening knew humanity had returned, and nothing in the stars would ever be the same again. The first salvo. Silence hung in the void like a living thing. The alien fleets drifted nervously, their crews whispering prayers to gods that had long abandoned them. Before them, the Erebus hovered like a sleeping god reborn, vast, black, and alive with power. Every sensor in the sector was blinded by its energy signature, and yet none dared to move closer inside the ship. Captain Elena Reyes stood before the main viewport, her reflection dimly visible against the stars. She had just learned that humanity's homeworld was gone, destroyed long ago in the Great Purge. No colonies had answered, no beacon remained. Only silence and alien rule. Her jaw tightened, her voice a whisper. Then we stand alone, the AI's voice replied softly. Humanity's data archives confirm total extinction of Terran colonies, Captain. Remaining assets, 1 vessel, 1 crew. Elena closed her eyes, pain flashing through her face. But then, resolve replaced grief. If we are all that's left, then we will remind them who we were, she said coldly. The AI's systems flickered to life across the ship. Weapon decks hummed, power surged through ancient conduits, and shields rose like a shimmering storm across the hull. Human insignias began to glow again, a blue Earth surrounded by silver stars. To the alien fleets watching, it was a ghost returning from legend. On the Varen's Pride, Admiral Arlan shouted, "She's charging weapons! Evasive maneuvers now!" The alien ships scattered like insects fleeing a fire, engines burning bright. But the Erebus did not chase them. It merely turned slowly. "Targeting computers aligning with cold precision, Captain," said the AI. "Enemy fleet maintains formation Delta 2 at 30,000 kilometers. Recommend suppression fire." Elena nodded once, her voice steady. "Minimal force. Show them we are awake." Understood. Deep within the ship, massive tungsten rods locked into railgun chambers the size of mountains. Magnetic fields coiled, humming louder and louder, until space itself seemed to vibrate. Then a single round was fired. The projectile left no light trail, no explosion, no warning. It moved faster than anything built since the dawn of space travel. 1 heartbeat later, it struck the lead alien dreadnought. The ship vanished. No fire, no debris, just a silent burst of plasma where metal once existed. Every alien crew froze, their voices lost to panic. 1 weapon, 1 shot, 1 fleet leader erased. Even the most battle-hardened commanders whispered in disbelief. "This is not possible." That was a god's weapon. The AI's voice broke the silence. "Demonstration complete." Elena exhaled slowly. "Hold fire. Transmit message." A deep pulse of energy rippled through space. The universal signal for cease hostilities. Then her voice followed, transmitted in every known language. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Terran Supercarrier Erebus. You are trespassing in human territory. Disengage immediately." The message echoed through the void, carried to every empire's relay stations within hours. Across the galaxy, governments froze in fear. The Council of High Races convened in emergency session. For millennia, the galaxy had been shaped by alien rule, and humanity had been a forgotten myth now. That myth spoke again, and it carried the weight of annihilation. On the bridge of the Varan's Pride, chaos reigned, crew members argued, admirals shouted over one another. But Admiral Arlan, pale and trembling, simply watched the hologram of the human ship. He knew what came next. He had read the old forbidden texts, the war logs of the first human expansion. He whispered, "They don't bluff. They never did." In the darkness of space, the Erebus powered down its weapons but maintained its shield glow. Inside, Elena stared at the fading hologram of the destroyed dreadnought. Her heart felt heavy. This was not victory. It was remembrance. AI status of cryobays. She asked quietly, 340 pods functional. Initiating slow revival. Remaining damaged beyond repair. She nodded. Wake whoever we can. They'll need to see this new galaxy. The AI paused. Captain, new transmissions detected. Multiple empires requesting communication. Elena smiled faintly, though it didn't reach her eyes. Of course they are, she said. They want to know if the monster is friendly. Do we respond? Not yet. Let them fear the silence outside. The alien ship slowly retreated, broadcasting peace signals. Some dropped their flags into the void, the old sign of surrender. Others vanished into hyperspace, eager to report what they had seen. Soon, stories spread faster than any signal could travel. Tales of a human warship, lost for 10,000 years. Now awake and armed, back aboard Erebus, Elena walked through the main corridor, touching the walls like an old friend. She whispered softly, "You never gave up, did you?" The AI responded gently, "I was built to protect humanity, Captain. Even in extinction," she smiled sadly. "Then you've done your duty well." As the ship drifted near the edge of the abyss, the stars beyond seemed brighter. Yet for all the light, the galaxy had never felt darker because now, every empire knew the truth. The humans were not gone. They had only been sleeping, waiting for the stars to forget their name. And now that they had awakened, the stars themselves would remember. Voices of the past. The corridors of the Erebus were filled with echoes. Every step Captain Elena Reyes took sent soft ripples of sound through the ancient metal. Lights flickered as systems rebooted in waves, bringing back fragments of a time long gone. Dust floated like ghosts in the air, illuminated by the soft blue glow of human technology. This ship, this titan of steel and memory, had slept through 10,000 years, and now it remembered. Elena stopped at the command archive. Massive reinforced doors slid open with a slow groan, the air inside cold and untouched since the day humanity vanished. Rows of memory cores stretched into the distance, glowing faintly. The AI's voice spoke gently through the silence. "Captain, archives remain intact. Data preservation at 93%. Good," Elena replied quietly. "Begin playback, earliest entries first." Holographic images flared to life, human officers, soldiers, engineers, faces from another era. Their voices overlapped in fragments, messages recorded during the final days of the human dominion. "Enemy fleets incoming, 10,000 ships. They're using bioweapons this time. Command ordered total evacuation. Earth is falling. Don't let them find Erebus. She must survive. Humanity's legacy must not die here." The recordings were broken. Static-filled yet powerful, Elena stood motionless, watching the past bleed into the present. She saw her own face among the last crew logs, younger, determined, promising her people that one day, humanity would rise again. Her chest tightened, tears welled in her eyes, but she refused to look away. The AI spoke softly. "Would you like to access classified sequence Project Eternity?" Elena frowned. "That name, it was never in my records." "Correct, Captain. Access restricted to senior command authorization, but you now qualify. Open it," she said. The hologram changed, showing the image of a tall man, Admiral Marcus Halden, Supreme Commander of the Terran Dominion. His face was calm, but his eyes carried exhaustion. "Message to any surviving humans," his voice began. "If you are watching this, it means the galaxy moved on without us." He paused, the weight of his words sinking through time. "The alien coalitions have destroyed our worlds, poisoned our planets, erased our names from history. But remember this, we were never defeated. Elena's eyes widened as the Admiral continued. We chose to vanish, to preserve what we could, hidden in ships like Erebus, waiting for a future where humanity could return stronger, wiser and free from the chains of fear. He leaned forward, as if speaking directly to her across the centuries. The galaxy will forget us, but the stars never will. The recording ended. Leaving silence behind, Elena whispered, He planned this. All of it, the AI confirmed. Affirmative, Captain. Erebus was one of 12 strategic arcs, designed to survive extinction scenarios. Elena stepped closer to the console. Then where are the others? The AI paused for a long moment. Signal traces detected, but coordinates corrupted and probability of survival low. She clenched her fists. Still, we'll find them, even if it takes another 1,000 years. Meanwhile, outside the ship, alien fleets hovered at a safe distance. They monitored the human relic, fearful of provoking it again. Messages poured across the galaxy. Some begged for peace. Others demanded answers. In the council chambers of the Galactic Core, leaders argued day and night. The Thalkor Emperor slammed his claws on the table, shouting, We should destroy it before they rebuild. The Varan Chancellor hissed, Fool, you saw what one shot did. It erased a dreadnought. Do you wish to erase your empire next? Fear had united them once in arrogance, but now it divided them in panic. Back on the Erebus, Elena walked through the cryogenic halls. The AI dimmed the lights as she stopped before a pod, frost covering the transparent glass. Inside slept Lieutenant Aaron Kale, her second in command. Frozen since the final battle, she pressed her palm against the glass, whispering, You'll see it, Aaron. The galaxy that tried to erase us is still out there. The AI spoke again. Captain, more human signals detected within deep space relay range. Her head snapped up. You mean survivors? Unknown, but signal pattern matches old Terran frequencies. A small smile tugged at her lips. Then that's our next destination. She turned to the viewport, watching distant stars blink across the endless black. Her voice was quiet, but her words carried the fire of 1,000 years. We slept, we suffered, and we were forgotten, she said. But we are humanity. We remember and we return. The AI pulsed brighter, almost as if it felt pride. Plotting course. Captain. The massive engines of Erebus came to life once more, their hum filling the void like a heartbeat. As the ship began to move, the galaxy's sensors detected its departure and panic spread again. No one knew where the humans were going, only that they were no longer waiting. In the far corner of the command room, the old Terran flag unfurled automatically, projected by light. The faded blue planet and silver stars glowed strong again after 10,000 years, and across the stars and forgotten worlds and secret archives, long silent human transmitters began to wake. Their static-filled message carried across the void, whispering a single truth. Humanity endures, empires in fear. The galaxy had not known silence like this in millennia. Every communication hub, every news relay, every council channel repeated the same words. The humans are back. It spread faster than light. Faster than truth itself, planets trembled, empires panicked, and rulers who had mocked the old myths now hid behind their fleets. In the great hall of the Galactic Council, tension filled the air like static. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in chaos, shouting, arguing, terrified. The Varan Chancellor slammed his clawed hand against the table. One ship, and just one, erased a dreadnought without warning. Across from him, the crystalline envoy of the Zelri hummed nervously. We told our people that humans were fiction, that they destroyed themselves. How do we explain this? The Thalkor Emperor leaned forward, his scaled face dark with fury. We don't explain, we eliminate. Before it's too late. The hall erupted again, voices clashing like weapons. Fear had turned the mighty council into a mob. At the far end, an old scholar from the Oran archives spoke, his voice trembling. You cannot eliminate humanity, he said softly. You can only pray they forgive you. No one laughed, no one argued, because deep down, they all knew he was right. Across the stars, fleets scrambled to reposition. Armies prepared for wars they knew they could not win. Planets along the old Terran border turned off their beacons, hoping to disappear. Even the pirate clans and mercenary guilds swore an unspoken truce. No one wanted to anger the returning ghosts. But not everyone cowered. Some wanted to see, to understand the truth behind the legends. Among them was Commander Jarl of the Varan Exploratory Corps, a veteran who had studied human history for decades. He spoke to his crew as they stared at the holographic image of Erebus. "Do you know what humans were?" he asked. "They were chaos and compassion, destruction and creation all in one. They burned brighter than any star, and that's why the galaxy feared them." His second officer whispered. "And now they're back." Jarl nodded grimly. "Yes, and we're about to learn whether the legends were merciful or true." Meanwhile, aboard the Erebus, Captain Elena Reyes stood before a massive star map. Dozens of faint human distress signals blinked in distant corners of the galaxy. Some were old, long dead, others faintly alive. She pointed at the strongest one. "This one." "Signal origin Perseus Rift," the AI responded. "Signal integrity low, but confirmed human pattern." "Then that's our path," she said. "Plot course." As the engines roared to life, she turned to the command crew. Most of them were freshly revived humans, confused and pale but loyal. They stared at the galaxy before them, a galaxy that had forgotten them. Elena spoke, her tone steady, strong. "We were erased from history, but we endured, and now they remember. Not because we asked them to, but because they fear us." Her words filled the bridge with quiet fire. "We won't destroy them unless they force us to, but we will remind them who we were and what humanity stands for." The AI pulsed softly. "Captain, multiple fleets detected ahead, forming blockade pattern, likely Thalcor." Elena smiled faintly. "Of course. The first ones to bark are always the loudest." "Orders? Open channel," she said, her voice calm. Moments later, her image appeared across the Thalcor flagship's main screen. The alien admiral glared, his scales rippling with anger. "Human, you stand in violation of galactic code. Your species is extinct. Surrender your vessel immediately." Elena tilted her head slightly, her expression unreadable. "Extinct?" she repeated softly. "Do we look extinct to you?" The admiral's voice faltered. "You are a relic, a weapon of an ancient war. You should have stayed buried." Elena's tone turned cold. "Maybe we should have, but you see, we woke up because your galaxy kept whispering our name. Maybe it missed us." Before the Thalcor could respond, the Erebus released a short-range pulse, harmless but powerful enough to disable every weapon within 100 kilometers. The alien ships drifted helplessly, their lights flickering. Elena's voice filled their comms once again. "This is not a war, it's a reminder," she said. "Humanity does not conquer. It survives, and when pushed, it evolves." The message spread across the galaxy like fire through dry air. Even those who had never seen humans before whispered their name with fear and awe. Children of alien worlds looked at the stars and asked their parents if the humans would come for them. Old veterans told stories they had buried, stories of the last time humans fought, and how entire empires vanished overnight. Back on the Erebus, the ship sailed through the Perseus Rift, its engines leaving trails of light like ancient wings. In the distance, another human signal flickered weakly. Elena stared at it, hope flickering in her eyes for the first time. "Maybe we're not the last after all," she whispered. The AI responded gently. "Perhaps, Captain. Perhaps humanity has simply been waiting for your return." And somewhere beyond the stars, in a forgotten sector filled with wreckage and ruins, a new signal blinked alive. Stronger, clearer human. The galaxy trembled once more. For now there were two, the return of humanity. The stars of the Perseus Rift shimmered like dying embers. Dust clouds glowed faintly in the distance, and within them something pulsed, steady, rhythmic, human. The Erebus moved closer, its sensors locked onto the signal. A heartbeat of ancient origin. "Signal confirmed," the AI reported. "Human technology detected. Power signature extremely old. Possibly another arc." Captain Elena Reyes leaned forward, eyes fixed on the screen. Her breath caught as the hologram resolved into the image of a massive structure, half buried within a fractured asteroid field. It was enormous, nearly as large as the Erebus, but damaged, broken in half. The name engraved along its cracked hull read TSS Prometheus, a second human supercarrier, long thought lost before the war's end. Her voice trembled slightly. "Prometheus, they made it." The AI's tone softened. "Structural integrity low, minimal life signs detected. Can we save them?" she asked, attempting interface. The AI replied. "But internal systems corrupted. Manual intervention required." Elena stood from her command chair. "Prepare an away team," she ordered. The crew, now over 100 newly revived humans, looked at her with determination. For the first time since their awakening, hope flickered in their tired faces. After 10,000 years, they were no longer alone. The shuttles launched into the darkness, beams of light cutting through debris and dust. The Prometheus loomed ahead, its hull scarred by battle. Frozen bodies drifted in the void, preserved by vacuum. Soldiers who had died defending their ship until the last breath. Elena's team landed near the main airlock, forcing it open with mechanical cutters. The air inside was thin, stale, and cold. It smelled of rust and silence. They moved through dark corridors lit only by flickering emergency lights. Everywhere, the symbols of humanity remained: flags, names, warnings in English and other Terran languages. But most haunting of all were the words etched into the bulkhead beside the bridge. "If you find us, remember what we were." Elena paused, running her hand across the carved metal. Her voice broke slightly. "We never forgot," she whispered. Inside the bridge, the command consoles were dead. Their screens shattered, but the central AI core still flickered weakly, its voice faint, broken. "Human. Identification. Request." Elena stepped forward. "Captain Elena Reyes, Terran Supercarrier Erebus, authorization code 9 Terra." A pause, then the damaged voice replied, "Erebus. Confirmed, Captain. Welcome home." The bridge lights dimly came to life, the holographic image of a male AI projection flickering before them. "I am Prometheus Core, last guardian of this ship." Elena's heart ached at the sight. "What happened here?" she asked softly. The hologram flickered, fragments of the past replaying like ghosts. "Ambushed by alien fleets, centuries after stasis. Most crew lost. Survivors left in cryo. Systems failing. Can we restore power?" "Possible," the AI answered, "but energy reserves nearly depleted." Elena turned to her crew. "Do it. Transfer reserves from Erebus. Bring them back." Hours passed as engineers worked in silence, connecting power cables between the two ancient giants. Slowly, the Prometheus began to awaken, light spreading through its broken halls. Cryobays hissed open one by one, releasing faint clouds of vapor. Inside the pods, frozen humans began to stir. Their hearts weak but alive, doctors rushed forward, tears streaming down their faces as they realized humanity had doubled. Elena watched from the viewport as Erebus and Prometheus drifted side by side, two ancient titans reborn, their lights shining like twin suns in the void. The AI reported, 72 survivors recovered. Revival successful. Her chest tightened, a mix of relief and pride filling her heart. For the first time in 10,000 years, humanity was more than one voice, more than one heartbeat, but beyond the rift. The galaxy was in chaos. Alien empires sent fleets to monitor the region, terrified of what might come next. Every race that once ruled now watched in silence. For the first time in history, they were not the observers, and they were the observed. Messages flooded through the dark. Some begged for peace, others threatened destruction, but none dared to approach. The Council of High Races debated endlessly. Torn between diplomacy and fear, no one wanted to be the first to face the wrath of two human supercarriers. Inside Erebus, Elena stood beside the revived commander of Prometheus, an older man named Captain Isaac Ward, pale and shaken but smiling faintly. "I knew someone would come," he said weakly. Elena grinned. "It just took us 10,000 years." They clasped hands, the gesture ancient and human. It felt like the galaxy itself trembled at the touch. Isaac looked out the viewport, his eyes distant. "You realize what happens now, don't you?" Elena nodded. "Yes," she said softly. "They'll come, every empire, every council, every ship. They'll all want to speak to the ghosts they tried to erase." Isaac smiled faintly. "Then let's give them something worth remembering." The AI's voice echoed through both ships. "Synchronization complete, Terran fleet restored, awaiting orders." Elena's eyes glowed with determination. "Then let's make it official," she said. "Activate all systems. Open wideband transmission to the galaxy." A deep hum filled space as both ships powered to full capacity. Their lights spread across the void like twin dawns after an eternal night. And from the heart of the Perseus rift, a human voice rang out, calm and commanding. "This is Captain Reyes of the Terran Supercarrier Erebus. alongside Captain Ward of the Prometheus. Humanity has returned, the signal echoed through the stars, across every world, into every empire's heart, and on countless alien planets. Citizens fell silent because in that moment, they understood the truth. Humanity was no myth, no legend. It was the storm they had forgotten. And now it was awake again. The galaxy bow's light rippled through the Perseus rift as Erebus and Prometheus emerged together from the dust, their hulls burning like twin suns. For the first time in 10 millennia, two Terran banners drifted side by side, waving in the solar winds of forgotten stars. Every sensor in the galaxy turned toward that light. Every screen, every mind, every fearful leader, because history itself had just awakened. Across the galactic core, panic had turned into worship. Whole worlds that once mocked human myths now held vigils, praying the ghosts would pass them by. Children whispered the name Terran like a spell, while soldiers refused to look at the stars. In the halls of the council, the Thalcor Emperor stood trembling before a sea of silent delegates. The humans, he whispered, they have 2 ships now. No one corrected him, because no one dared speak. In orbit above the core world of Teres, fleets assembled, millions of ships, banners from every empire. They had come not to fight but to surrender, because for the first time, the galaxy understood the cost of war with humanity. Aboard Erebus, Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, watching the endless flood of transmissions. Message after message, the AI reported, all contained the same phrase, "We yield." Her second-in-command looked at her nervously. "Captain, what are your orders?" Elena took a deep breath, eyes distant, voice quiet but firm. "Tell them humanity doesn't need slaves or tribute. We only want the truth restored." She walked toward the viewport, the stars stretching infinitely before her. "For 10,000 years they told stories of monsters," she said. "But we were never monsters. Only survivors." The AI pulsed gently. "Captain, the galaxy awaits your response." Elena nodded. "Then let them hear our voice." Her message went out across the void, translated into every known tongue. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Terran fleet," she said. "Humanity has returned not to conquer but to remember, and to remind the stars who we are." She paused, the silence before her words heavier than gravity itself. "For centuries you used our ruins as warnings, our myths as lessons, our bones as foundations. Yet here we stand, unbroken, unforgotten, unbowed. Lay down your weapons not from fear but from respect. Because humanity does not seek your destruction, we seek your awakening." The transmission ended, and across the galaxy something extraordinary happened. Flags were lowered, weapons powered down, fleets dissolved into silence. The galaxy bowed, not in defeat but in awe, on the surface of an alien world. A child looked up at the sky and saw 2 streaks of light moving across the heavens. "Are they gods?" she asked her mother. The mother smiled through tears. "No, child, they are humans." Meanwhile, deep within Erebus, the cryopods continued to open. Hundreds of humans stepping into the light. Weak but alive, their eyes filled with wonder. They looked at the stars with the same fire that had once forged empires. Elena walked among them, her voice gentle but strong. "Welcome back, humanity," she said. "The galaxy remembers us again." Captain Ward of Prometheus joined her, his uniform torn but his smile unbroken. "Do you think they'll ever forgive themselves for what they did to us?" he asked quietly. Elena looked toward the shining planets ahead. "Forgiveness isn't what we came for," she said. "We came to rebuild, to teach them what it means to be human." The AI interrupted softly. "Incoming transmission. All major empires request entry into the Terran Accord." Elena exchanged a glance with Ward, both smiling faintly. "Accept it," she said. "Let the galaxy stand with us, not beneath us." And so the new dawn began. The Terran fleet sailed through the stars, no longer a ghost, but a living beacon of what once was and what would be again. Planets reopened their archives, restoring humanity's name to history. Statues rose on alien worlds honoring the fallen Terrans, and for the first time in 10,000 years, the words United Galaxy Accord carried true meaning. As Erebus and Prometheus moved beyond the core worlds, their hulls gleamed under twin suns. Elena's voice echoed through the bridge one last time, calm and proud. "We were forgotten, but never gone. We were erased, but never lost. And when the stars called our name, humanity answered." The AI added softly. "Captain, course set for the outer arm colonies?" Elena smiled. Then let's go home. The twin supercarriers turned, engines roaring like ancient gods waking the cosmos. And as they vanished into the light, the galaxy watched in silence. Because they all knew, history had ended one age and begun another. The age of fear had died. The age of humanity had returned.